Well, we just had a school shooting in Texas. Everybody know about that, of course, because the media is all over it all the time. And it's all about the guns are so bad. Well, they can be, but only if they are in the hands of the wrong people. You see, it's not the gun, it's the guy behind the gun, the woman behind the gun, but usually it's men who is committing these atrocities like mass shootings, school shootings. It's rare you hear about a woman engaging that kind of activity. And I'm positive that this has something to do with MK Ultra. Something is going on, and it's a political agenda. But before I go read anything here, I want you to see something here. Here's my YouTube channel. Here's some suggestions that they're giving me, right? But I post daily, almost daily, on my channel. So here's my channel. And all you need to do is go on my homepage and then click on community. And there you got it. If I'm not making a video, I'm definitely making a statement. There is, I'm telling you, it's everywhere. Right? So just so you know, you can go have a look there if you want some tidbits. Because I'm good at that. I don't always have time to make a video because of my job. So at least I can, if I snap something up, I can place it here and inform you of it. It's just how I think. You know, the more that knows, the better. And that's my pretty wife's beautiful eyes. Okay. So the GOP lawmakers in Ohio are making a bill that is designed so that teachers are actually allowed to carry a firearm in the classroom. There's been some debate about it, and there's been a lot of regarding training. I mean, to be honest, looking at the picture here myself, this woman do not look like she's comfortable with this firearm in any form or fashion, not at all. She has no idea. She's not holding it right. Even though she don't got the finger on the trigger, that's a good sign, but her hand placement on the firearm in itself, I would say she needs a lot of practice on that firearm. This is new to her. That's for sure. That's okay. I mean, we all have a learning curve. So here's a long article that a Republican state lawmaker sent a bill to Ohio Governor Mike DeWine on Wednesday that empowers local Board of Education to allow teachers to carry a gun in the classroom. Under current law, a teacher would need consent of the board plus more than 700 hours training to bear arms in school. 700 hours? Are you bloody kidding me? That should be able to be nailed down in 2 weeks of a classroom of 6 hours a day. Right? That's 700 hours. That's a lot of training. But yeah, it does require a lot of training to be responsible carrying a firearm, because it's not a toy. It's something that put holes in people, and it's something that can kill people. And latest we heard the buffoon, poopy pants crackpipe daddy says in an interview that a caliber 22 gets stuck in the body, but a caliber 9mm is going to blow the lungs out. Well, let me say it like this then. That perv that decided to commit a crime, a violent crime, and crime where he's armed with a deadly weapon, no matter what it is. He himself has already gone through his head that there might be an alternate outcome of what I am contemplating to do right now. There might be a concerned and astute citizen out there with the license to carry, depending on state you're in, who has a firearm and who is able to use it and put that fuck down like the dog he is. So I don't got a problem with that a 9mm if the buffoon crack pipe daddy says it's blowing out the lungs. I don't got a problem with that. Stop the threat. If that means the threat dies, so what? He engaged in this activity knowing that there is a risk. And unfortunately for that perp, he ended up dead. Well, one less perp on the face of the planet. He should have think twice. He should have returned and repented and seek Jesus instead of being, a villain. So, but under the House Bill 99 that a teacher would need consent of the board to meet certain training requirements, which are capped by the state at 24 hours unless the local board demands more. I would say, if you saw the picture of that teacher there, I would say that I don't think 24 hours is enough for her. She needs more. When you apply for a concealed carry permit, you have to go through a lot of questioning in the end of your school or your classroom. And when you have passed that test, you have to contact an instructor, and then you have to go do a proficiency test. I did that to show that you are able to handle the firearm, that you can hold the firearm correctly, that you can put the shots out in the order that he states to you that you have to put out the order, like 3 shots in 6 seconds. That requires some split thinking, because you only got 2 seconds per shot, right? At a distance of 3 yards, and then 7 yards, and 15 yards. So it requires that you keep your head cool. And it also requires that sight alignment is important. You can't just pop, and think you're good. No, you can't do that. When I did my proficiency test, I had 240 points out of 250. Which were the maximum score. Meaning I passed the proficiency test with, I would say, not an A+, but an A. And he was pretty impressed that I haven't shot handguns since 1987. And I just took this handgun, my own handgun of course, in my hands, and I took charge of the situation, listened to the instructions, and I did exactly what I was instructed to do, and I pop, and I put the shots where I needed to put them. But that's because I have military training myself. So to me, it's not a foreign world I'm getting into. I know what it is. I know the recoil is there. I know it says bang. I know there is some adrenaline going through your body when you're actually shooting a live round. It's not like when you're just out on the military exercise and you are playing cowboy and Indians and you're shooting blanks. It's not the same. As soon as you get a real live round in your chamber, everything changes up in your brain. You get sharp, very sharp, in an instant. You have to. I mean, if you are in a situation where you have to respond with lethal force regarding a firearm, you are accountable for every single bullet leaving your gun. So if a gun, if you shoot at someone and you miss and it hits an innocent bystander, you will be held accountable in civil court for hitting that person, and that can cost you dearly. That's why it requires training, and more training, and then more training, and then more training, so you know exactly what you're doing. There's a lot of talk also about how to align your sight. Some instructors, they want you to align the sight where you have the notch and the front sight in perfect alignment. Well, let me say one thing for sure. If you want to precision shoot, like if you have a competition where you're using a wad cutter, 9mm slugs, or 45, whatever handgun that you prefer to use as your personal self-defense weapon. A wad cutter is a flat nose that cuts a perfect circle in the target, which makes it easier to view exactly where that bullet hit, how it hit. Because when you shoot a full metal jacket round ball, or you shoot a pointed yet flat on the top ball, the paper gets a little threaded, and your idea of your precision is not 100%, but a wad cutter bullet will definitely do the job for you, so you can see exactly where you are in your expertise in shooting. So you can do that, align both sides, but from what I know, my experience, what's most important is you follow with your eye down the slide, not so much the sight, but mostly the front sight, pointing at the target, and you will hit the target. And in a split decision, like if someone comes up to you and you know already that this would be a violent altercation between you and whoever is coming against you, you do not have the time to align the sights. You only have the time to get your weapon out and point it at him. And that is why it's important. Where is your front sight? Is it pointing towards, or have you some sort of line of sight over the slide down to the front sight? If you have that right there, you will hit exactly where you're looking at with the front sight. So if that front sight along the slide is pointing towards his trigger, you will hit his trigger. No question about it. And if you miss it by half an inch, he would be dead anyway, because the concussion shockwave and the splinters from his broken ribs will puncture his heart, also his lungs, and they will put him out of business. The best place you can shoot an assailant is not aiming for the heart. That's a lot of people think that is where you need to shoot. Well, that's in fact not true. If you're real good, you can do a headshot. Then you have to be real good. But if you shoot just below the throat, there's a little notch when your ribs begin in the middle. And if you go 10 inches down, that entire area in the middle of his torso is called the chest bone, that is connecting all the ribs. If you hit there, anywhere there, it's a showstopper. He will not come back in the fight. He will most likely die from it, because all that bone fragment plus the bullet itself, which I hope, if you choose to carry a firearm, is a hollow point. Do not carry a round ball in your chamber for self-defense, because they have a tendency of over-penetrate, and you can hit an innocent bystander behind you and end up in jail, or with a very hefty, what do you want to call that, reparation fee to those people who has been hurt, or in worst case scenario, you kill 2 people in one shot. So I can clearly say that that is a no-no carrying. If you are carrying on the street, in your purse, wherever you have your firearm, do not have round ball, flat nose, or cut or wad cutter bullets. You only carry hollow points. Because when they enter, they deposit all its energy in the target within the first few inches of entry, and it stops. It does not go through the body, it stops, and it creates a concussion shock wave in the torso, in the organs, and that is what is the showstopper. That is the intent for a hollow point. That is to deposit and dump all the energy within a few inches of its entry. So it has the maximum damage. That's why hollow points is called home defense or self-defense rounds. Round ball, flat nose ammunition is only for target practice. Nothing else. When you're down at the shooting range. Because hollow point, you can't shoot that as target practicing unless you just want to waste money. Because it costs more. It's a lot more expensive to purchase hollow point. So back to the story. So I don't want to read it all because I don't have the time for it, but you get an idea that now there is a calling in Ohio for teachers to be able to defend their students in case of a sicko, an MK Ultra trained, like the guy in Uvalde, like the guy in Sandy Hook. A lot of people say nobody died in Sandy Hook. Well, you know, you can have that opinion. Alex Jones had that opinion, and he's been sued for it, and he's losing. I don't have the exact information on this incident, Sandy Hook, other than it's horrible. It's horrible when some mentally ill person walks in anywhere. Like Florida, this guy went amok in a gay bar and shut up a lot of homosexuals because, you know, I mean, I don't care where you come from. If you decide to go out with a firearm, with an assault rifle, actually AR-15 don't mean assault rifle 15. It's coming from a company called Armalite. That's where the name AR-15 comes from. It doesn't mean assault rifle, but they pound that on you in the news to make you think that this is a weapon of war, which it is not. This is for hunting and home defense. It's not a weapon of war, period. It's not constructed to be that. I'll let the politicians just talk, flabber their mouth, because we know what their agenda is. They want you to consent to just hand over your firearm, which will leave you defenseless. And we all know that the criminals, they will never leave or give up their firearm because that's the extension of their low self-esteem. That is to have a gun they can shoot somebody with when they want to rob him or just, you know, play tough guy, like in Chicago and other Democrat-run cities. It's funny that it's always in Democrat-run cities that these mass shootings takes place. It's kind of pointing the finger back at who is actually orchestrating this shit, this tragedy. That is the Democrats. They're behind it. The CIA is behind it. The New World Order, if you like, is behind it. They want you to demonize and hate firearms. And then we think, well, if we in a situation of warfare, you have an enemy attacker coming in the thousands, hundreds of thousands. Are you going to meet your enemy with sticks and stones? No. You want to be able to put down as much firepower as possible and as quickly as possible to stifle the attack, or maybe even make the enemy retreat. I can assure you, if a shooter comes into a school and there is an armed security guard, and as soon as he comes in with his firearm on his side, or his rifle, his so-called assault rifle, he'll be put down like the dog he is. But if he gets passed unseen by the guard, and he comes into the classroom and think he's going to play smartass, then we have Mrs. Smith here taking her firearm, 45 Glock, and just point it at him and blow him away. You see, if a guy comes in your classroom with an AR-15, a shotgun, or a 9mm, which is so bad, which is, of course, the most common round in American home defense arsenal. That's why they want to attack the 9mm. They want to ban it, like Canada. So Mrs. Smith just takes her gun out and pointed right at him, and boom, he's gone. Because it's not normal someone walks into a classroom dressed in camouflage equipment with a firearm in his side pointing. That's not a normal scenario. No. And that teacher just needs to be ice cold and just say, is it going to be 14 or 19 students, or is it going to be him alone? Put him down like the dog he is. Kill him. Stop him. Empty the bloody freaking clip in her. That might seem to you like an overkill if you were a sissy liberal, but where I'm sitting, evil cannot be dead enough. I can assure you, if I'm in a situation where I have to defend myself with my firearm, there will be more than 5 slugs in his chest. I'm gonna powder him. I'm gonna make damn sure that he's not coming back in the fight. I don't want him to move at all. If he moves, I'm gonna put another one in him. And that will probably be a headshot. Put him out. Lights out. Gone. No more threat. And that's the mindset you need to have, because the criminal, he don't care. There's an old Chinese saying, don't spare your enemy, because your enemy won't spare you. So what do you need to do if you have a firearm at your disposal? You bloody empty the clip in your enemy. Finish it. End of story. Finish it. And here, just today, we bloody have another shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 5 people dead. 4 people shot dead, and then the assailant committed suicide. What the actual reason for this is unknown at this point in time, because the incident is still under investigation. It could be a disgruntled co-worker. It could be someone who just lost his wife, or something else traumatic happened in his life and he just said, screw it. But I don't know. We don't know. And I surely hope that Oklahoma, which is a constitutional carry state, and the police of Tulsa, which I respect, they're going to tell us the truth about what the hell this was. Why did he do this? That's important. We need the facts. We don't need to hear what Washington and all these buffoons have to say, Because we all already know what those buffoons are going to say. Oh, we're going to have to ban and put restrictions on. But you cannot do that. Do you understand that, Biden? That is an infringement of the Second Amendment. You cannot touch it. Do you understand that, old man? You are allowed to own hand grenades. You're allowed to buy a bloody tank and shoot the tank if you can afford the ammunition. Yes, you are. And the Second Amendment is not designed for just the fun of it. The Second Amendment is designed for you, the militia, and that's what you don't understand either, you liberal idiots. You out there, I know the conservatives who don't have a problem with firearms, they know what I'm talking about here. The Second Amendment is designed to defend yourself against oligarchs, meaning Washington, D.C. and their power grabs. That is what the Second Amendment is designed for. Because history has always shown when the leaders, the government, the kings gets too powerful, innocent people are getting murdered needlessly. It's called depopulation. It's called genocide. Seen it all over the world, but nobody's remembering that history because it's not taught in your schools anymore. We don't give a shit about that. She's a lying narcissist bitch. Shut her up. That's what it's designed to do. That is to give you the possibility of defending yourself a tyrannical government. And as we see, Washington is becoming more and more tyrannical. That would be nothing they would love more than to take all your guns and put you in a camp and selectively exterminate you. Meaning if you're over the age of 45 years old, you already have a target on your back, you already did. Because they know you are the generation that will ask questions, who actually have a decent education and was brought up when moral and values were still around. The youngsters, oh yeah, man, they're sitting ducks. They will gladly take the mark and go to hell. No problem. Because they didn't get brought up with those moral and values. They didn't get brought up being taught the true history, world history, national history. Nope. They got brought up to believe that, it's fine that we need to exploit children sexually. It's okay that we are teaching kids at 6 years old how to use a condom, how to have anal intercourse. It's okay we are now inviting drag queens into schools, dancing around, dressed like a woman, and thinking that something like that is normal. That's the generation we have now, and they're the ones that is losing here. You're so screwed. You have no idea. And you're going to become our worst enemy because you are just going to listen to what the Washington, D.C. is telling you. Oh yeah, they got to be right. Because you never got trained in school to ask questions, to do the proper research. Like I did. I was taught to question everything. But I'm not from here. I'm from another place in the world that over the years, like America, unfortunately turned more and more socialistic, meaning going towards communism. So that's all I have to say today. The links to these two articles is below in the description box. I just wanted to say something about this. It's tragic. It is. But we can say one thing for sure, and that holds water. Anywhere you go in this country, an armed society is a polite society. And if the society is armed, Washington, D.C., they will shut the hell up and stop trying to control us. So there you have it. Over and out. God bless you all. That was 30 minutes. I planned on 15. It never works. Until next time.